I'm McKenna.
And I'm Cass. And this is Call You in 5. Well, we're coming to you live from San Diego. If you can't tell, this is not our this is not our normal recording setup, right. But this is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to be on a trip and get to record a podcast together.
Yes, so much fun. So we're in San Diego because Cassie has some fun things happening this evening, which I don't really know how you have time to record a podcast beforehand, but yeah.
Yeah, I can talk about it really quick.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I get to speak on college campuses across the country this time of year. It's like a big time of year with back to school, and I specifically work with sorority communities. So obviously around recruitment, preparation for recruitment for women who will join sororities, who are preparing to welcome new members to join sororities. So it's really fun, and I'm really excited that you're here with me. This is like so fun. I travel all over the country by myself, like 90% of the time. And so having you come with me is like such a treat. Thanks for being here.
Yes. So I'm here because I'm Cassie's personal photographer.
Yeah.
So I'm a wedding photographer, but turned a sorority photographer, speaker photographer. But
that's a thriving business.
Yeah, no kidding. But it's really fun. It's so much fun. We came out a day early so that we could just hang out. We went out to dinner last night. I mean, we've just been having a good girls trip, and tonight's the work. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for bearing with us in our fun new environment, our fun new microphone, i.e. my iPhone.
Yeah.
Which is fun. So today's episode is all about our travel tips. We both travel a fair bit, and the way we travel, even being in, around the same age in like similar lifestyle, the way we travel is just naturally super different because of the stages of life that we're in. And so we're excited just to like dive into travel and some tips that we have or to help you in your like future trips and how to plan. But before we do, what's been your highlight of our trip together so far? We haven't had to work yet, which is really nice.
Dinner was so good last night, but I still stand by, I think just going and sitting on the beach and getting in the water a little bit was probably the highlight so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about you?
I think mine, so right before I started getting ready for my thing tonight, I just was like feeling a little anxious and overwhelmed. So I'm like, I'm just going to go in the ocean. And it's been pretty overcast. Like the time that we've been here, it's been pretty cloudy, pretty like standard San Diego, but it was so nice. The sun came out. I just like had a really quick power nap. I was like, I'm going to go. So I just threw on my suit and ran into the ocean, and you came with, which not into the ocean, but you came with me to the beach and just felt good. I feel like it just like stabilized my body and my heart. So yeah, but even just like walking over to dinner was so good last night. Getting like a sunset view over dinner was awesome. But like walking on the boardwalk because dinner was really fun too.
Yeah. Last night we went to, it's called Jordan's, right? And JRDN. Yeah, it was so good. I got the best sushi. Well, it was extremely good sushi. It was a little bit pricey, but it was a huge roll.
Yeah.
And you got some really good food too.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like a differently prepared version of shrimp ceviche. I should have come more prepared to talk about what I had for dinner last night. Yeah, I had that and asparagus, and it was so tasty. Yeah. So you don't travel quite as much as me, thank goodness, because of what we're going to talk about. What has been like the biggest surprise for you that has come transitioning from like traveling solo, which you did a lot before having Leela, to now traveling with a newborn, like toddler, 15-month-old?
Right. So I actually, before I had Leela, I used to travel a lot. I feel like Joey and I used to travel, not like internationally, but we went to Nashville. We would see family all the time. So we used to travel a ton, and Joey and I used to always do carry-on. Like we never checked luggage ever. And now traveling with a kid, there's no getting past, like there's no carry-on. Like you need as many hands-free as possible, and there's so many things that you have to check. So that has been like a huge surprise for me, the amount of stuff that you have to take with you.
Yeah.
Like a car seat, a stroller, a pack and play, her luggage, my luggage, Joey's luggage, like on and on. So the things that I've learned the most is just buy what you can where you're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just so much stuff that you have to take, especially when you're traveling with kids. And I only have one, so I'm sure it only gets to be more and more stuff as you have more kids.
Yeah.
But you travel a ton. Like, you have it down to a science.
Yeah.
I mean, you're traveling to, was it 5 different universities this week, right?
Yeah.
So definitely you're going to have some hot takes on traveling too as well.
Yeah, what's funny, the carry-on thing, like when you and Joey were first married, is so relatable. Like, I will go to great lengths not to check a bag, quite like solely for the purpose that DIA, the Denver International Airport, baggage claim is my living nightmare.
No, for real.
I would rather do a lot of things before stand and wait for a bag there, especially if I have someone picking me up, which is super rare, or it's like a late evening flight and I have to go shuttle to my car. So I just would rather not. And so, yeah, I do the same thing. Like, same thing that you used to do, right? Before you had to like check your life away to be able to like carry Leela with you. I feel like my biggest tip for people who travel a lot, or people who want to like travel with confidence and feel unencumbered, is just to like know where everything belongs, because there's like nothing worse than like going through the airport and being like, gosh, like where's my phone, or like using your watch really quick to like call it, or even if you're trying to find like a quick makeup item to like, I don't know, what's the word? Touch up really quick. Or if you want to change as soon as you get there and you're like, where did I put that like sweat set? I think having everything have a place is not only helpful for travel days, but for the time that you spend in hotels. I spend a not awesome amount of time in hotels, especially this time of year. And so making my suitcase feel like my closet is really helpful, of like, okay, my dirty laundry always goes here. My clean underwear, my clean socks, my like dresses, my workout clothes are always in these places. And same thing with my toiletries. Like, I really try to do my best to not let everything be all over as much as possible. I try to like keep like makeup stuff, like, okay, it all goes back into the same container or whatever, which helps me a lot. Yeah. And then on the days that I'm leaving, I know that I have everything, you know, because my license, for example, is always in the same place. My phone's always in the same pocket. My gum, I have to travel with gum because I've had like multiple ear ruptures midair, which isn't ideal for someone who travels a lot, or anyone, right? Like, having an eardrum rupture is not good. So yeah, I think having everything have a spot makes a big difference.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Especially coming out here this trip, everything I had did not have a spot. I've become a very frantic traveler, I feel like. Yeah. But if I were to say, like, I guess we could get into like tips for each one of us. I mean, you were kind of saying some of your tips, but like I said, buying what you can there, like, because you have to pack diapers, wipes, like the works. Like, just pack a few diapers and a few wipes to get you where you're going, and then just buy it.
That's so smart.
Because then it's less to carry with you, which sometimes I try and pack more. But also, if you pack more diapers, you use them up when you're there, and then you can use that space for something else coming home. But yeah, if you don't have the space, don't take it. It's less things. But
I like that advice too, for just peace of mind. Like, making sure to pack the things that you can't get other places. And then if you forgot something, give yourself grace. Like, I've like been in an airport about to board my flight, realizing that like I don't have a strapless bra and I like need to wear an outfit that like requires a strapless bra. Go to Target as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves, like, not to forget things. It's like, okay, is there like a gift that you're taking that you can't get there? Is there a type, like my contacts, like it would be very difficult to get those there, right? Some of the necessities, like, make a list of the things that are like make a list of the things that are irreplaceable, for lack of a better word, or very difficult to replace. Make sure you have those things, and then pack the other things that you want. But if you don't have them, give yourself some grace that you can get it there. Yes, that's really good advice.
For sure. And the other thing I've been doing, I made a list like the first couple times we were traveling with Leela of all the things I was taking on my phone in my iNotes. And now when we're traveling, I go down that list and I can check it off. And if there's anything I forget, add it to the list so that next time I won't forget, which has been a very good peace of mind, because you have to take a sound machine. You have to take, we take our slumber pod, if you guys have ever heard of that. It's like a blackout for a pack and play. Literally life-changing. If you don't have a slumber pod, they're a little bit pricey, but 100% worth it if you have a baby, because they black everything out and you can put them in the middle of a hotel bright room and everything's blacked out. It's amazing. But yeah, so just like having an ongoing list. But I think the hardest thing traveling, especially maybe not so road trip traveling, but like traveling with a baby on a flight, is the peace of mind for mom, because I know I'm so stressed out if she starts to fuss. But you just have to remember that you're not the first person to travel with a baby. You're not the first person to have a baby cry on a plane. And a ton of people understand, and the ones who don't understand will either understand one day when they have a baby, or just like they're just a little grumpy. You know what I mean? Like babies are going to cry on flights, and you know, they should have brought headphones if it's going to bother them, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, everybody knows all the travel tips of like traveling with a newborn baby. Like try to feed them a bottle when you're taking off. Like that has been game changer for Joey and I. We always like wait to give her bottle until we take off. Yeah, well, and it helps with the ear pressure.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe you didn't know that. Like if you have a baby and you've already been traveling, then you probably know that. But yeah, maybe a lot of people don't know that. So if you feed your baby a bottle on takeoff or landing, it helps with the ear pressure. And that's why babies cry a lot, is because they can't communicate to you. Their ears hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those are some really good basic tips. But I also think it's important for moms to just kind of not stress. I'm guilty of this. Stress about the people sitting around you if you're going to have like a fussy baby, you know?
Yeah. What's so funny about that is like I feel like a fussy baby just after hearing that, because that's why I chew gum on takeoff and landing, and that's why I have to, is because my eardrums have ruptured on like ascent and descent. Like those are the times that, you know, like maybe if you don't have as like fragile ear canals like I do, you're like still trying to like blow like clear the pressure in your ears. And so it makes sense that babies need to do that too.
Yeah.
They're probably way more sensitive than we are.
And also that's probably why they're crying. So if you are on a plane and you hear a mom's baby's crying, maybe just like have a little bit of empathy for them, because obviously they don't want to just sit there and let their baby cry. You know what I mean? Like probably the mom is more stressed out than you are. So
no question. I actually heard something that from a friend who was like, I used to be the person who got so annoyed by like babies crying on planes until I had one. And you understand like how stressful it is that everybody else is trying to enjoy their flight or just get where they're going, and you have no control, because this happens like in the privacy of your own home all the time, that babies cry. But when you're in a public place that you have no control over it, it's just, I don't know. I think that's great advice for like parents traveling too, is like give yourself grace, because if people are upset or not, like you're doing the best you can.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I'm trying to think. I think on my side of that, in terms of tips, something that I hate as much as I hate checking a bag, I also hate eating or buying food at the airport.
Yeah.
It just drives me nuts how expensive it is. And so I will try to pack, I'll try to eat if it's like a midday or like afternoon flight. I'll try to eat lunch or pack lunch so I can eat around lunchtime of the time zone that I'm in or the time zone that I'm going to. And then I also often find that it's like nice to have a little Tupperware with me on my trip. If I'm like packing something else or taking something to go, or wherever I'm going, if I have the opportunity to cook, then I can do the same coming back. I can like pack a little lunch in my Tupperware or a little dinner or something to come the opposite direction. Or if it's like a morning flight, I'll try to do like my overnight oats. I'll like eat it in the car to like the shuttle, like the airport parking, so that I'm like good to go. 'Cause there's just like nothing worse. For me, there's nothing worse than spending like $15 on like a super average salad.
Yeah.
Like it's
relatable,
because it's always average, you know, and it's probably more than $15. But so I think like packing lunch if you can before, and then I think this also is something that's like been super important to me, and I think also I have the bandwidth to do, like when you're trying to like hustle a bunch of kids or one kid and a husband like out the door, right? You might not have the ability to like clean your house or like make sure your space is, you're coming back to like a space that feels good. But that's something that's been like super important to me. It's like I want to like make my bed and like clean the kitchen, and for my roommates, like make sure that it's not like a burden or I'm like leaving a mess or a whirlwind as I leave. But especially like for my personal space, like my personal bathroom and my personal bedroom, it's just so nice when I come back and it's like, especially if I've like washed the sheets right before I left. If I'm like leaving in the evening, I'll like wash them first thing in the morning as I'm getting ready to head out the door. And my bed's made and everything's put away. It's just so peaceful to come back to. And I think it also like prompts you to like unpack your suitcase faster because you have a space that's clean and you kind of want to keep it that way.
Yeah, actually, I can relate to that too because before I left, I tried to tidy up and clean, even though my husband didn't come with us on this trip. It's just me. But I like cleaned the kitchen, made the bed, attempted to put away the laundry. We didn't get to the full load of laundry. But all of that stuff I tried to have clean before I left. And I know that my husband is going to be like amazing. And I already know that I'm going to come home and it's probably going to be clean because he always does that before I come home. But like, in the sense of it was nice for me to leave. Like, I don't have roommates, but my husband to leave not all this chaotic mess for him who's, you know, working full time and taking care of our daughter while I'm gone. And I know I'll come back to a clean house. So it is nice if you can make the time. It is hard with kids. It's harder probably, but it's definitely worth it to come back to a clean house.
Totally. So I feel like, do you have any tips? Because obviously this is a fun trip, but it's also like kind of a work trip. But I wouldn't consider it, maybe you would, a personal trip for you, because a personal would probably include like your family. What is different for you about traveling for work? Obviously that we're like friends and this is like fun, but what's different for you traveling for work versus traveling personal? Like what are like the biggest differences?
Like traveling by myself for work or by myself personal? Is that what you mean?
Or no, just like in general, like if traveling for personal reasons includes family. So what's the difference between that and traveling for work?
Well, I feel like I procrastinated the packing a little bit more, but
Because it was just you.
Because it was just me. Yeah. I feel like I am overwhelmed with packing for a whole family. But I had that like grace with myself, like you were talking about, when I was coming out here. I'm like, well, if I forget anything, I'll just buy it. Like I literally forgot a sweatshirt and I'm like, whatever, I'll just buy a San Diego sweatshirt. I probably would be more stressed out about that if I was traveling with my family.
I was just curious. I feel like for me, like I was talking to somebody about this. I feel like I make like a lot of friends when I travel, for better or worse.
Not even when you're traveling, like literally everywhere.
I feel like I just like, I must be friendly enough that I just like easily befriended. But I made a friend with this girl, Katie. I actually hope she listens to the podcast. I was like editing our cover photo when I met her. And I was talking about how much more I was traveling to Portland, which is where I grew up. And so my family was there this summer and I was going to go see them, which is a personal trip for me, even though if I'm traveling personally or I'm traveling for work, it's all by myself. But, I was traveling home and I was telling her how much more chaotic I felt traveling for personal reasons. Like for whatever reason, I just feel like so organized when I travel for work because I have like the specific outfits I wear for specific reasons, for like my specific speaking engagements or my like rest engagements, or like I've got a road trip coming up in these next couple days. I've got like the sweat sets like all picked out that I'm gonna wear. The Taylor Swift sweatshirt is packed, you better believe it. So I feel really organized when I travel for work, but for some reason when I travel for personal, I just like throw stuff in. I'm like, I could wear this t-shirt and like shorts, or I might end up wearing this like nice dress if we like go somewhere nice. And I probably need a couple swimsuits because like maybe I'll go to the pool one day and like go swim in the lake the next day. You know, I feel like it's harder.
That's super relatable because that's exactly what I did for this trip. Like I'm here for 2 days and I threw in probably like 6 outfits. Yeah. You know what I mean? I might wear this. Granted, we have worn a lot of them. Yeah. Because I feel like we've been doing a lot of different things. But yeah, I feel like traveling on my own, it's not as big of consequences if I forget something. It's like, whatever. So yeah, it's a little bit less stressful. I can for sure relate to that.
Yeah, so maybe the like comparable for you when I'm looking at my travel is like personal versus work. Yours is like family or solo.
Yeah. If you didn't know this, if you're a mom and you need to travel with kids, I didn't know this, but maybe this is common knowledge. Maybe everybody knows it. But you can carry on bottles of water for your kid, and it's up to a certain amount of ounces. I don't remember how many ounces it is, but it's more than like what you can carry on for like makeup. Isn't like the limit like 3 or 4?
3.5. Yeah.
3.5. Yeah. So we used to take on like full bottles for Leela. And even now we just take milk, like whole milk. But if you're like carrying on formula, they just have to hand check the formula and the bottles of water and stuff like that. So you can take on more if it's for your baby. So if you didn't know that, you don't have to stress about that. You can take it with you. Or if you like pump milk, that stuff is like liquid gold if you're pumping. The last thing you want to do is waste it. So you can check it. Just they have to hand check it or carry it. You can carry it on. They just have to hand check it.
Yeah. I never would have known that.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned so much from you in preparation for that future season of my life.
Definitely Google the amount of ounces though, because I don't know what the max is, but we haven't ever had a problem and we've taken on like 6-ounce bottles. So yeah.
As far as like pre-check goes, I had the privilege of going through the regular security line for the first time in a long time. So McKenna wouldn't be alone. We went through security at DIA yesterday, which cues my next tip, which is
I need to take.
TSA pre-check is worth every dollar. It's actually gone.
This is a tip I need. I need this tip.
I'm not kidding you. I used to like joke with my friends. It's like if he doesn't have TSA pre-check, it's a red flag. Like
red flag. Red flag.
It's different in friendship. We won't travel together as often.
Not when you're a photographer and you have a freaking boatload of equipment that you have to take out.
And all the film.
It's a red flag.
So here's the thing about TSA pre-check is I love the accessibility of travel and everyone should be able to travel, but the people who go through the TSA pre-check line just travel more often, so things move faster. Because one, things move faster, and two, there's just less requirements, right? You go through the background check. For $75, you get to go through a shorter line for 5 years. Like, this isn't just like an annual membership, it's a 5-year membership. And a lot of like travel cards will like cover it for you. Like, I know some of the, I don't know what they're all called, but like Chase or American Express, like Voyage cards will include it in like some of the benefits of having that credit card. So look into that. My first job out of college actually paid for me to get TSA pre-check because we were just traveling so much, and I'm absolutely hooked. And it renews really easily. Like they also do an email when it's time to renew, and it was cheaper. Like what in the world is cheaper 5 years later? So they're doing good work. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yeah, so definitely get TSA pre-check because it makes your life easier. And that is my personal tip and advice for my dear friend McKenna.
Honestly, that's the best advice, and I think we should end it there because that is advice I need. Everybody needs to take that advice. Except for not everybody, actually, because then it'll make the lines longer.
Yeah.
So
I think as we like end, I feel like you and I have both just been like dreaming as we've been like walking around and chatting about like our dream like vacation destination. What's yours?
I would love to go to Bora Bora and then stay in one of those like overwater bungalows. I have been dying to do that. I don't know.
That sounds dreamy.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
You can like feed the fish through the like window, staying on the water. I would love to do that one day. One day.
That's a dream. Mine's a little bit more basic. I think I would love to go to Santorini and like go and like climb all the stairs. I've been so dehydrated this trip. I would drink way more water if I was in Greece and just like enjoy like the sights and like have a Mamma Mia moment, you know? I am dying to go to Greece. So that's on my list.
Yeah, I think that's great. You guys, if you've made it this far in the podcast episode, we are on YouTube, Apple, and also Spotify. So if you can leave us a review, we greatly appreciate it, and it helps us out so much. And we love connecting with you. So DM us, reach out, whatever. If you have episode requests or anything like that, we love to hear it, and we love to make a little list of things that we want to record in the future. So let us know.
Oh, yeah, we would love to. All right, y'all, we'll call you next week.